championships. And hopefully in some small way I've touched some lives, made a difference.
I loved my coach Pat Summitt. I don't think I'll be able to walk into this arena for the rest of my life without a lump in my throat. It's tough. Even though I hang on to the personal, I know her legacy was so much more than that. She believed in the power of one woman, and she harnessed that power to mold thousands of young women, some she knew and some she'd never even met. I believe in the power of that, and I hope you do too.
No better way to bring us into Knoxville tonight as we honor Pat Summitt and her continued impact on women's basketball, both on and off the court. Here in her house in Knoxville, Tennessee, the venerable Thompson Bowling Arena is the site for our Thursday night showcase and the SEC on ESPN as the #1 team in the country. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish, winners of 11 in a row, get set to take on the Tennessee Lady Vols, the 29th meeting all time. We are courtside at TBA. Adam Amin, Carol Lawson, Rebecca Lobo, Holly Rowe is with us tonight as well. These two teams met a whole lot of times when Pat Summitt was at the helm. In fact, she won the first 20 meetings between these two programs. They've played two back-and-forth games the last 2 seasons, but two teams going in different directions right now.
And Notre Dame is one of the most electrifying offensive teams in the country. They are unselfish, balanced, dangerous in transition, and they are led by senior Arike Ogunbowale, a player who, as she puts it, has the clutch gene. She rises to the moment. We'll see what she has in store for us tonight. 2
buzzer beaters in the Final Four last year to lead the Irish to the title. Meanwhile, Carol Lawson, first time since 1970. Tennessee has lost 5 in a row, granted 4 of them by a combined 9 points.
Arguably the most trying time in the history of the program. When you look at the losses that have piled up, when you look at their position in the SEC at 13th place, and you're right, Adam, yes, they have been close losses. They have been games that have been a play here or play there, and the outcome is different. The Alabama game is the one aberration, and I think you look at this game, and this could be a season changer for the Tennessee Lady Vols. If they're able to knock off the #1 team in the country, that could give them a ton of momentum.
Remember, for Notre Dame a year ago, it was this matchup in South Bend that helped turn their season around en route to the national championship. We're ready to go. Brianna Turner beats Cassie Kushkitowa for the tip. And the Irish start with the basketball, 18-1 on the season. Their lone loss against UConn. Marina Mabry finds the cutting Brianna Turner to break the scoring seal.
No, you bring 2 to the basketball off that ball screen action. Excellent roll by Turner, and Mabry with a nice dime for the layup.
And that's an area where Tennessee's defense has struggled. Man-to-man on-ball screen defense.
Kushkitowa over Turner. Good second effort by Sheridan Green. Kushkitowa kicks it back out to Zay Green. And Jessica Shepard clears. Notre Dame, the #3 scoring offense in the country, averaging 88 points per game. But they've had some turnover issues this year. And Avina Westbrook takes it the other way to tie it.
Oh, there's the rotation. You saw Zay Green go and take that pass away from Shepard. Tennessee's quickness, they're going to have to utilize that as a weapon defensively against this Irish team with so much skill and spacing.
Lob for Turner. Taken away by Tennessee.
Well, again, it's Green with the breakup. Excellent job.
Westbrook sets up Renaya Davis. Offensive rebound, Kushkitowa. Got it back and scored to give Tennessee the lead.
This is a game where Notre Dame's guards are going to have to come in and hit the defensive glass along with the big guys. They like to leak out because they're so good at running in transition, but the bigs might need some help on the boards.
Ogunbowale in and out. Out of bounds, and for the first time tonight, we check in with Holly Rowe.
Well, talking to Muffet McGraw of Notre Dame before this game, we said, what stands out to you? This is a team that's lost 5 straight in your opponent, Tennessee. She said, desperation. She said, we've been in that position before ourselves. When things weren't going well and we were desperate to win a game, that's what she fears the most. If this Tennessee team is talented enough to beat anyone in the country, she just doesn't want it to be them tonight.
And Muffet McGraw's defense comes up with a steal from Shepard. Coast to coast, a little too strong. Mabry rescues it. Ogunbowale off the Turner pick. Shepard, the offensive rebound. A lot of chances for the Irish. Tennessee comes away unscathed on that possession. Lady Vols started the season 12-1. 2 weeks ago, they were sitting in the top 10, where they had been most of the season until this 5-game skid. The rarest of rare when you talk about Tennessee women's basketball. Nice move by Sheradine Green. Could not finish, though. Foul is called on Kushkitawa on the action. There is Holly Warlick, former Tennessee guard in her 7th season, looking for her first victory against the #1 team in the country as the head coach. They've only played the #1 team 1 time in Holly Warlick's tenure as head coach at Tennessee. That was when they lost to Stanford back in December of 2012. Jackie Young draws the foul. And if that's Kushkitawa, that's number 2, and it is.
Passing of Notre Dame is something that we've marveled over the history of their program. The terrific passers that they've had. We saw one from Mabry early. There's Agumbawale with a nice find and puts Kushkitawa in a compromising position. And just picking up her first foul, that's now her 2nd foul.
So Kushkitawa's got to come out. Camera Harris, who's only played in 11 of Tennessee's 18 games this year, will check in. And remember tonight that Tennessee is a little bit thin because they're without one of their double-digit scorers, Mimi Jackson, who's one of the lone seniors on this team, dealing with a left ankle injury she suffered in that 1-point loss on Monday in the 3rd quarter against Arkansas. Was getting a lot of treatment today, was not ready to go for tonight.
And Adam, Mimi Jackson's been struggling lately, but the last time you and I saw her live, she was going off against Texas.
Yep.
She had 32 points in that game.
She is an electric scorer at her best, and that's something that Tennessee's desperately going to miss tonight. Zay Green with the shot clock winding down, can't hit. And to Notre Dame.
Arike Agumbawale in there, battling for the defensive board, and she's going to need to do that tonight.
Notre Dame loves to run in transition, particularly off rebounds. Usually you see teams that have a lot of steals like to run. Notre Dame's good at that, but they're really good off the glass.
Not only do they get the defensive board, Jess Shepard in particular, outstanding outlet passers. The other 4 players sprint the floor. They're looking for one another. They're trying to beat you down before the defense can set up.
Here's Ogumbawale. Notre Dame has missed its last 5 shots. And Harris clears the rebound for the Lady Vols. Davis, their 2nd leading scorer, puts Tennessee back in front.
That's a great sign for Tennessee offensively, because when she's able to hit that jump shot, then she's able to feel confident. And it's been mental warfare for her a little bit as of late. She struggled with that. Just 5 for 29 in her last 3 games from the field.
Here's Mabry with a quick 3. That's 6 in a row that Notre Dame has missed from the floor. Muffin McGraw pouring her veterans on the floor to get things going offensively. 1 for 7 start. Tennessee not much better, but they're in front. There's a good look for Davis. And Jackie Young, an excellent rebounding guard, starts the break. Ogumbawale to Shepard. Could not hit. 7 in a row missed. And a lot of them very good looks. Here's Avina Westbrook. Good look, left it short. How about that outlet pass by Shepard? Ogumbawale. Another good look. Chilly start in Knoxville for both teams. Good pass to Green from Westbrook. Threaded the needle to get her the look.
Yeah, the patience on that play by Avina Westbrook to wait till Zay Green filled that lane. It was a beautiful display.
Zay Green seems ready for this moment as a freshman, doesn't she?
True freshman from Duncanville, Texas. Mabry misses another Notre Dame 3. gets back to defend. Green keeps it for Tennessee. Sheridan Green. Great defense by the excellent shot blocker Turner, but a traveling violation on Mabry. Both teams struggling a bit offensively to start the night in Tennessee.
5 straight losses. They have to be thinking, if they can beat us, the #1 team in the country, this could be the game that turns their season around. After that win against Tennessee, Notre Dame, of course, went on to win the national championship. That was the turning point. Could it be the same for Tennessee tonight?
You know, Holly, I remember at halftime of that game last year, after watching Notre Dame get throttled at Louisville the week before, and then the first 20 minutes of that one thinking, it's going to be a long year in South Bend in women's basketball. And boy, did they ever turn that thing around.
It ended up being a long year of celebration.
They ended up last year with more ACL injuries than losses. But Tennessee trying to take advantage of this atmosphere tonight with #1 in town, and their top scorer, Evina Westbrook, has 5. Tennessee up by 7 early.
Enrique Gumbawale, after the timeout, starting on the bench. You think Muffin McGraw giving her a chance to recollect herself?
Going with Abby Prohaska, true freshman out of Ohio, on the floor. Has to rescue that and ends up drawing a foul.
Well, it's something you talked with her about this morning, about first half, second half, and if she needed to have a little bit more pep in her step in the first half.
Yeah, she said she does, and needs to have a bit of an intact mentality. She's back out there now. I don't know, the game is just not late enough in it for Enrique to come alive.
Mabry starts her night 0 for 3 from three-point range. This is Ray Burrell, freshman off the bench for Tennessee, and she gets tagged with the offensive foul. Oftentimes, Brianna Turner finds herself in the right position. She did here.
I think she got caught in the air, and when you elevate and don't have a firm grasp of what you're trying to do, whether it's shoot or pass, sometimes you can get caught and force the turnover.
Renaya Davis comes back in. Sophomore out of Jacksonville, Florida. It's really 2 sophomores, Davis and Westbrook, that lead the way for a young Tennessee team. We told you Mimi Jackson, their lone 4-year senior on the roster, that's part of the main rotation, is out tonight. They'll continue to lean on some younger players, including Jasmine Massengill. Freshman number 13 is on. The Irish bring on their freshman Jordan Nixon out of New York City. Gumbawale in traffic. Shepard, rebound, got it, foul.
I thought that could have been a foul on Agumbawale, but Shepard's done a nice job. It's been kind of a one-woman offensive rebounding crew. And I thought it could have been at the body. I thought she got hit at the waist there.
I thought it was a foul.
Yeah.
It just wasn't called, absolutely.
Yeah.
But great work by Shepard. She continues to hit the offensive glass.
Yep, they need it.
Coming off her 6th double-double of the season, the three-point play stems the tide for the Irish.
Certainly have been plenty of misses for Shepard to rebound here early.
Well, we talked about Notre Dame being so good on the glass, one of the best rebounding margins in the country. But they faced a lot of smaller, quicker teams. This Tennessee team can bang it on the glass, too. Renaya Davis has her 2nd bucket. That's a good sign, as Kara mentioned, as she'd been struggling shooting.
And nice patience offensively for Tennessee. Sometimes they can quick shoot, and it has been a problem, but they've had nice patience so far this evening.
Late in the clock, it's Jackie Young. Ogumbawale. Good look for her first field goal of the night.
The clock just needs to be very near to 0, whether it's the shot clock or the game clock, for Enrique to really come alive.
Notre Dame typically plays a lot of zone in the first half. Zay Green takes a deep 3. And Ogunbowale rebounds out of that zone. The step through, tried to pass it off. Massengill made the deflection, but Jackie Young was right on the spot. After trailing by 7, Notre Dame back within 2. Here's Green on the drive. Freshman's got 4.
Yeah, she's looked confident. She's made some game-changing plays defensively with her athleticism and has done a nice job offensively as well.
Good ball movement. Turner got it to go, and the foul. That'll be on Sheradine Green, her second. And the Irish have made their last 4 field goal attempts after an 0 for 11 stretch.
And Notre Dame in the shoot-around this morning was working on getting the ball right there to Jess Shepard in the middle of the zone and making things happen. They've just had difficulty getting the ball there because of Tennessee's length and their activity on the defensive end.
It's why coaches emphasize ball movement, because passing will beat defensive rotations every time, particularly when you're in a zone and you're having to cover such a wide area on that back line.
Shot clock is off. Krishkitawa and Green, 2 bigs for Tennessee with 2 fouls in the opening quarter. Freshman Mimi Collins came on in relief of Green. Final seconds. Massengill, clutch shot, got it to go to beat the buzzer. Cold start, better close on both sides here in Knoxville. Number 1's in town, but Tennessee's on top.
We were 0-20 against her going into the NCAA tournament 2011, and that's all the media was talking about. We happened to win that game, and I think the thing I remember is how gracious she was. And I know for myself, not the best sport after a loss, so that was something that I really looked at and thought I could learn a lot from her.
That was back in Dayton, Ohio, when Muffet McGraw and the Irish got their first win against Tennessee. That started a streak of 6 straight Notre Dame wins over Tennessee. And now the last 2 years, these 2 teams have alternated blowing leads on the road. Tennessee had the 23-point lead last season in the first half in South Bend before they lost. It was 2 years ago when Tennessee trailed in the second half, overcame a 15-point deficit to come back and beat a top 10 Notre Dame team.
And Muffet McGraw said Pat was so gracious to us. She came back to the locker room, talked to people in the hallway, talked to my sisters, my family. She said, you know, Pat set a standard for all of us. And when we would have things happen in the coaching world and we would think, what's going on? Everybody would say, what did Pat say? What did Pat think?
Right.
And whatever Pat thought, that's what the rest of us thought. She set a standard for all of the female coaches.
Zay Green, Holly gets the field goal there. She's got 6. An incredible legacy left, and there's a Tennessee program that's hoping for a little bit of magic tonight against number 1 Notre Dame. Shepard, tough shot. Zay Green, the freshman, has been active. Ahead to Collins, and the freshman-to-freshman connection leads to a 7-point advantage. Young to Shepard in traffic, draws the Collins foul, and finishes. Well, when she wants to, she can dominate the glass at both ends.
Well, sometimes Notre Dame's having to wait for it, but anytime they get a penetrating pass like this, they're getting pretty much everything that they want on the offensive end. I thought Collins got a lot of ball in that play, but certainly Shepard and those hands you talked about, securing defensive rebounds and their strength to throw outlet passes, we saw some of that there on the offensive end for her to take that contact and still finish.
As a young player, Jessica Shepard was a point guard, and she clearly has point guard skills. They're just in a big player's body.
Second leading scorer on Notre Dame's team, leading rebounder. Well, how about the freshman stepping up? Duncanville, Texas, stand up for Zay Green. A chance at a 3-point play.
Yeah, they know her in Duncanville. It's a great play from Zay Green, and she's been the player playing with the most passion, playing with the most swagger for Tennessee. Remember, we told you at the top, this is a team that enters the game with 5 straight losses. 5 straight losses. They're 13th out of 14th in the SEC race. They have the opportunity to step out of conference and face the #1 team at home, and they're responding to that challenge right now.
And so young. 7 of the 10 players, freshman and sophomore. And Kara, you brought up this point to me before the game, how important it was for Tennessee to have a good start so that they could continue to have the belief that they could win this game.
And Ogumbawale was looking cross court for Jackie Young. Muffin McGraw gave Enrique Ogumbawale a look like, what was that? Enrique kind of said, hey, that was on me.
They're disrupted right now.
Yes.
And I don't
it's
know
a great word.
I don't know that it's a ton of what Tennessee is doing. I think some of it is, but they haven't looked like they normally do in the half court.
In particular, they're finishing. They've missed some easy looks around the bucket.
Massengill. Burrell saved it. 4 to shoot. Green pops. Missed everything. Ogumbawale coast to coast. Back within 6 are the Irish. I'm looking out on the floor right now. 4 freshmen and 1 sophomore for Tennessee. Trying to nurse a 6-point lead against the #1 team in the country. How about this? Mabry overcommitted, allowing Green to penetrate. The dump down by Shepard to Turner. Wave out the basket attempt. The foul on Green. Well, how about James Harden? 61 at the Garden. He'll get set to take on the Toronto Raptors and Kawhi Leonard. 21 straight games for Harden with 30-plus points. NBA Friday Countdown starts it up at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. It's on ESPN and the ESPN app. Turner in traffic. Shepard saved it again.
I think Tennessee needs to be careful, and Holly Warlick talked about this morning, knowing when to run. Because I don't think you want to get in an up-and-down game with Notre Dame.
Sure.
I think you have to pick the times that you play fast, and then when you play slow, don't turn it over and look to get a good shot under 10.
That's exactly what they've done so far.
Late in the clock, open look, Ray Burrell. Ogumbawale never really had it cleanly. It is going to be ruled a jump ball, though. And a simultaneous there, and it's Irish ball in the possession arrow.
There are a lot of times in the last 5 games during Tennessee's losing streak that whoever had the ball in her hands when they crossed half court, that player was going to shoot it without anyone else touching the basketball. The patience they have shown tonight is completely different from what I've seen in their last 5.
Notre Dame congested offensively. Ogumbawale lobbing for Turner, and Collins is going to get tagged for her 2nd foul.
So remember, the arms have to stay vertical. And if you're coming in to help, you can't have right there. Do you see that left arm? It comes down. And I think that's why she got called.
I've said this a lot to my youth basketball team. It doesn't have to be a foul. It just has to look like one. And whenever a post player brings their arm down, it looks like a foul.
We talk about indicators in college football more than anything else. We talk about the targeting rule. Referees often look for indicators for fouls or violations. That's oftentimes, especially with bigs, an indicator for a potential foul. That arm coming down.
I'm going to start using that with my 7th grade team. That's an indicator!
Don't use indicators. Come on.
7th grade or 7-year-old?
7th grade.
Okay, they'll get indicator.
I got to use it with a group that can actually spell it.
I was going to say, yeah, 4-syllable word.
Well, listen, I'm barely able to do such things, so let's not set the bar too high.
We work with you. Indicator.
Green missed it. Young got it and stepped on the sideline. A giveaway by Notre Dame gives Tennessee the ball back. Looks like that toe right there. Ended up being the right foot.
With this court, it's pretty obvious when you stepped out of bounds with a bright white sneaker. Or do you call them tennis shoes here?
Is that a regional thing, you guys?
Yeah. I have no idea what you guys are talking about. What do you mean, like a basketball shoe? What do you mean, a basketball shoe? We call them, I don't know, Nike? I don't know.
Well, Zay Green is the key right now for Tennessee. She's got 13 of the 28 for the Lady Vols so far. She's been big the last couple of games out. She continues that stretch. Young in traffic. Her first bucket of the second. 4 straight makes for Notre Dame now. Westbrook, the floater short. 3-on-1. Numbers for Notre Dame. Young, patient, and scores. Notre Dame's second most transition points per game in the country. 27 per game. And they do it off rebounds and defense.
Jess Shepard's looking tired right now. She didn't cross half court last time down. Attack her. She's looking tired.
Yeah, good idea by Davis. It looked like Turner was on the baseline when she caught it. That'll take us to a timeout. We got a tight one here. Pat Summitt Foundation, a fund of the East Tennessee Foundation, and its fight against Alzheimer's disease, launched in November of 2011 after the diagnosis of early onset dementia, Alzheimer's at age 59 for Pat. Stepped away in April of 2012, passed away 2 weeks after her 64th birthday in June of 2016. And across college basketball, we honor her legacy and memory here tonight in Knoxville and around the country. Tennessee's led by as many as 8. They lead by 3 here. Camera Harris a little bit short. Shepard with 3 Lady Vols surrounding her. Still starts the break, and Turner finishes it at the other end.
Well, the vaunted Notre Dame transition. I mean, they get a stop, and they get a layup on the other end, and a part of that is because of how well Turner runs the floor.
But also, Jess Shepard having the vision to see she's surrounded by 3 players. First of all, when a shot goes up, Jess Shepard's first thing, her motor, she's going to go to the defensive glass and try to corral the rebound. But once she does, 6 hands in her face, very difficult to even see, but she knows she's a player there, gets it out, and here they go.
You've got wings that run the court. You've got multiple players that can be the primary ball handler in transition, and you have a post that sprints the floor.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're just trying to create what you want in a good transition team, Notre Dame has all those things.
Marina Mabry just picked up her 2nd personal foul. She comes off the floor, and Prohaska is back on. Good defender. Ogumbawale and Camera Harris got hooked up, and Harris got called for the foul. Notre Dame led by 2 early in this game. They'll have a chance for the lead here.
I think it was the right arm that held Ogumbawale a little bit.
Shepard to Turner, and Notre Dame has its first lead of the second quarter. They've made their last 7 field goal attempts. Can this young Tennessee team stem the tide? Clock down to 5. Massengill operating. Tough shot over Young. Shot clock violation.
Notre Dame's gained a little traction here.
Yep.
I think they're more solid on the defensive end, and they've kind of figured out. You have to understand from a personnel standpoint what each player from Tennessee is going to bring, and I think Holly Warlick makes a smart substitution in bringing Zay Green back into the game because she's the player that's carried the load for them offensively in this one.
He's got 13 of Tennessee's 28. There's a takeaway by the Lady Vols. Massengill behind Green, saved by Davis, and then Prohaska reached in.
And it seemed like Notre Dame had kind of figured out the zone, getting the ball in the middle of the floor and then picking it apart. Last possession, Tennessee in a man-to-man, able to get the deflection and get out in transition.
Just a late pass by Massengill, and then it was off target, and that completely torpedoed the fast break opportunity. Those are the little things, right, that make a big difference in terms of you've got a numbers break, you've got an advantage, you've got someone streaking down the court. See them quickly and make an on-target pass.
You guys have already talked about smart transition for Tennessee. It also has to be properly executed as well. You have to take advantage of the opportunities against a high-octane offensive team, Holly Warlick was telling us. Here's Davis. Turner blocked it from the side. Ogumbawale. Nobody stopped the ball. Tennessee gets away with it. Massengill to Green. Leaving it for Westbrook. Great transition for Tennessee. You see her talking with D. Cantner. Ogumbawale wanted the foul in traffic. What a steal by Westbrook. Just ripped away the post entry from Prohaska. She'll take the three. Offensive rebound, Green. Tipped alive to Zay Green, and she put it home. Prohaska missed it. Tennessee can go 2 for 1. Davis on the push. Harris the rebound. Muffin McGraw was saying that she did not call for a timeout. I think maybe one of the officials thought she had called for one. You see D. Cantner checking, did you want a timeout? I don't believe Muffin McGraw did. But because of the stoppage, they get to make a substitution, bring Nixon in and Prohaska out. Offense, defense here. A little bit of a break there for Notre Dame. On a 5-second difference, shot clock and game clock. Punches thrown back and forth at the Summit tonight. Late in the clock. And a foul called on Harris, reaching from behind. Now that's tough. They might have had an opportunity to get the ball back in the final seconds. It should be 2 shots here for Shepard in the bonus. Sonic Blockbuster takes place on Saturday, all part of the SEC Big 12 Challenge. We'll get some facts from Holly Rowe later on tonight about Kansas and Kentucky. She'll be on the Kansas bench during the Sonic Blockbuster from Rupp Arena Saturday at 6 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. Shepard knew it was long. Young got it. Notre Dame could get the final shot. Shepard lays it in. This will count from 3-quarter court. And the Irish come away with points. But most of the points for Tennessee belong to Zay Green. Scored or assisted on 24 of 34. A young Tennessee team on a 5-game losing streak. A proud program hasn't seen this type of skid in over 4 decades. And right now, Warlick was talking about during this 5-game losing streak, much better in the first half against Notre Dame. And they get right back on the board. 5-point advantage as Renaya Davis has 6. Same 10 that began this game start the second half. This is the 15th straight game that Notre Dame has had this starting lineup. This is the first time Tennessee has used the starting lineup they're using tonight this season. Ogumbawale 2 for 9 from the floor to start the night. Sheradine Green denied. Boy, Brianna Turner is a stopper down low for the Irish. Ogumbawale out of control coast to coast, but will go to the free throw line. Took a hard hit.
Enrique, her speed in transition. And she puts her head down, and she's got a lot of strength. She has the ability to finish. There she's not able to get the get the bucket through the contact. But the one thing when you're going against Turner for Notre Dame, you can't just catch the ball and turn and shoot it. Like, that's not going to work against Turner because she has that length and the athleticism to just block. So you have to have more of a game plan when she's defending you in the post than just turning and shooting it.
At least the shot fake, because shot blockers leave their feet. They're eager to get up and try to block your shot. You got to give them something.
Turner with the most blocks among ACC players, passing up Amasa Hoff. Excellent shot blocker for Miami. 4 blocks tonight. She's second all-time in Notre Dame history. Only the great Ruth Riley had more shot blocks in a Notre Dame uniform. Kushkitawa was saddled with foul trouble in the first half. She'll go to the free throw line here, drawing a Turner foul.
She picked up too early and they never came back in the game.
Cassie Kushkitawa, who's seen her minutes reduced, sophomore from Atlanta, had a knee issue in December, still really hasn't been fully healthy. You see the brace on her left knee, but she has started to ramp up the minutes as of late.
She played really well for this team in the Bahamas and then suffered that knee injury and just hasn't gotten her groove back yet.
You see what you did there, Bahamas, getting her groove back.
If her name was Stella, it would have been
even better. Perfect.
I was waiting for an Angela Bassett reference of some sort in this game, and I'm glad, as per usual, my partners come through big time.
I love Angela Bassett.
Who among us doesn't? Ogumbawale, quick trigger on the turnaround jumper. She got that one to go. And we know Arike Ogumbawale's penchant for ramping it up in the second halves of games over the last couple of seasons. Did it in a big way last year against Tennessee. Here's Kushkitawa, the double on her. Good read by Marina Mabry. Struggled mightily shooting the ball in the first half. Didn't see a ton of time. Shepard over Sheridan Green. Good defense. Green rescued it. Zay Green open for 3. Ogumbawale the rebound. Davis nearly stripped it and gets called for her second foul.
Tennessee's going to have to be careful because they had quite a few players in the first half pick up 2 fouls. Tennessee, a team that fouls a lot. Notre Dame, a team that gets to the free throw line better than any other team in the country. More makes and attempts from the free throw line on the season.
Tennessee commits the most fouls per game among SEC teams. Just a shade under 19 per game. Can't afford that against a very good free throw shooting team. Arike for 3. Couple of field goals here in the third quarter, and it's back down to a 1-point game. This is the foul trouble, a handful with 2 for Tennessee. You see the ranking. That's last in the SEC. Foul away from the ball. This goes against the Lady Vols, and this will go against Kushkitawa, the first Lady Vol with 3.
And while the last 2 possessions, when Tennessee has picked up fouls, Notre Dame hasn't gone to the line on the other end. It's going to get them into the bonus sooner.
Right. Young to Shepard. As somebody left Jess Shepard with too much space, and Notre Dame takes the lead. 11 for Shepard now. It'll stay at this end of the floor. Sonic Blockbuster. Holly Rowe, tell me a little bit about what you're going to be looking for when you're behind the Kansas bench for KU and UK.
Well, we're working on a really cool story, me and Maria Taylor, about PJ Washington of Kentucky and Dedrick Lawson of Kansas and why their mothers coached them and grew up playing basketball together.
Awesome stuff. Hey, right on cue, Rebecca Lobo. Jessica Shepard starting the outlet and getting it to Mabry for 2. 9-0 Irish run.
I have not seen a better outlet passer in the country than Jessica Shepard.
She started it. Mabry finished it. 9-0 run. Irish have their largest lead.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by TGI Fridays. In here, it's always Friday.
A couple of legends in Tennessee history there. Of course, Peyton Manning did a lot to help jumpstart the Pat Summitt Foundation. He said he considered Pat Summitt a very close friend. Actually said that Pat was almost like one of my coaches. In fact, when he was trying to decide whether or not to go pro, he turned to Pat Summitt between junior and senior year to ask her for advice. Obviously had a great NFL career. Tamika Catchings would go up to play when she was in the WNBA in Indianapolis often. Pat would come up for those games. Peyton Manning would come up for those games as well. They were very close.
Well, Peyton's always been a big supporter of the Lady Vol program. Ever since he was a student and an athlete here at the University of Tennessee, has come to many Final Fours since he's graduated to support the team.
Ogunbowale and Westbrook, the two leading scorers, trade buckets. Back down to a 3-point Notre Dame lead. Ogunbowale heating up here in the third quarter. She's got 8. Nearly had 11 there. Sheridan Green clears for Tennessee. She had a rebounding advantage in the first half. There's the shot fake you were talking about. Harris draws a Turner foul, Rebecca.
Yeah, Kara, it was just a little hesitation. Just enough to get Turner off her feet. She's leaning, and then you can go up and get the foul call.
You got to look at Holly Warlick. Our Holly was just in that huddle, am I right?
That is a Holly on Holly huddle right there.
That's right.
Yes, Holly Warlick was getting on our team about turnovers. You know, we kind of bragged on them at the half that they had just 3 in the first half. They had 3 already to start this second half. So she talked to them about taking better care of the basketball, but then she also drew a big black squiggle line from the free throw line into the basket. Take it at them. They can't handle that. She wants them penetrating more and really taking it in, being aggressive.
Kind of able to do that on that possession, get a nice paint touch. The free throws, no good for Camera Harris. She's had to play bigger minutes tonight with the foul trouble to Kushkitawa. Tennessee forces a turnover. Sheridan Green, second chance, got it to go, 1-point game.
Remember, Tennessee started off the game really pounding the offensive glass. I think that's going to be important through the second half. They continue to do that. If their shooting ability dries up, that can safeguard their offense.
Green finally gets on the board, her first points of the night, but she's done it on the glass. Ogunbowale in traffic, and a foul called against Tennessee on Harris. Holly Warlick unhappy as we hit the under 5 timeout in the third, and a tight one in Knoxville.
On Wednesday morning, we lost a treasure. Hazel Head, the mother of Pat Summitt, passed away at 93 years old. A native of Henrietta, Tennessee, she was the hand that held the entire family together. She was a beloved supporter of her daughter. Everybody here in Knoxville knew Miss Hazel. I remember going back to Pat Summitt's room to watch film before a national championship game, and there was Miss Hazel by her daughter's side in all of the big moments in her life. She will be dearly missed. We sure loved Miss Hazel.
I love you, Miss Hazel. I'm going to miss you a lot. You know, we talked a lot about how Pat used to have these wonderful dinners and used to cook. Well, Miss Hazel was the best cook.
Right?
Yeah, she was the cook. And as she got older, hearing started to fade a little bit, vision started to fade a little bit. But if you went up to her, and she would always ask you, which one are you? Which player? Because you got to think about how many players, right?
Absolutely.
Pat's the only coach. And I'd say Lawson, and she'd say, you're doing good on TV, girl.
Here's Zavina Westbrook. Hazel had moved in with her granddaughter, Casey Davis. She was with Casey when she passed away. Casey pretty much summarized Hazel in a pretty good sentence. Good cooking and a lot of love. I thought that was a pretty good sentence to epitomize a really cool lady. Sheridan Green picks up a foul.
We talked about it. 4:30 left in the quarter, and Notre Dame in the bonus because of some earlier fouls a long way from the basket.
Turner at the line.
I think that was a mini test that Tennessee, a young Tennessee team that's on a losing streak, has passed, because Notre Dame made a run. Notre Dame took the lead, and then it's about response. And to see Tennessee go on their own little run and tie the basketball game back up, to me, that's growth, and that's a step forward.
Zay Green hustling up the floor. He's got 15 to lead Tennessee. Westbrook's got 11. Oh, that was deflected by Mabry, saved by Green. We got a good look from Sheridan Green. Shepard clears it. Outlet to Young. For Turner on the lob. Broken up by Sheridan Green. Young with the second and third effort and fourth effort. Had it blocked. Lady Vols looking for the lead. Davis. Turner clears. And now Notre Dame on the run with Ogunbowale finishing. Boy, a big momentum swing all of a sudden there. And Turner knocks that pass away. Transition opportunity again, and a good foul by Westbrook to prevent Young from getting the easy two.
Just a costly turnover. Why? Why by Westbrook to try to make a home run pass there right through the guts of the defense? Not needed on that play.
You talked about smart transition, right, guys?
And then when Tennessee's been so patient all evening.
Westbrook's going to get a breather. They're going to need her in the fourth quarter, especially if this is a tight game. Mimi Collins will check in for Camera Harris. Massengill came in for Westbrook. This feels like a key stretch in this game with Notre Dame tying its largest lead at 5. I'm just looking again. Freshman, JUCO transfer, sophomore. That's who's out there for Tennessee right now. Sheridan Green threading it somehow to Davis. Saved in bounds by Sheridan Green. Oh, she was by herself. Could not finish. Massengill gives Tennessee another chance. Ogunbowale with a straight strip. 3-on-2. Finds Young. And a foul called. That'll be on Zay Green coming back.
You have to take advantage when a post player that's not used to handling the basketball that far out, and Sheridan Green wades out into the deep water, and Enrique Ogunbowale makes her pay. And she's been great in transition.
I was going to say, and doing a lot of that damage in the third on the run.
If you're a big who wades out in the deep water, don't dribble.
Yeah.
Wear a life vest.
Wear a life vest.
Yeah.
Pass fake, then pass. Get it out of your hands and, go back into the shallow end.
It was funny. We were talking with Holly Warlick about little fundamental things, right? Earlier today, that word came out in our conversation. How about Jackie Young saving her own missed free throw?
You said it, Adam. This is danger zone for Tennessee. They can't afford to foul to put Notre Dame to the free throw line. And Notre Dame seems intent on making this a double-digit lead.
Sheridan Green doing a nice job hassling Shepard, who gets called for the foul. A reminder, tonight we've got SportsCenter after the X Games Aspen. SVP will take an inside look at what's driving Golden State as they start to heat up here in January. His take on Tiger season debut at Torrey Pines. And maybe future Chicago Bull, John Morant. I'm just saying, Murray State's electric guard who puts on a show every time he touches the ball. It's all on SportsCenter with SVP tonight. Not to say that I wouldn't appreciate watching him in Chicago at some point.
Well, Chicago needs a lot of everything.
A lot of everything right now. They could use anybody in that lottery as Massengill hits the clutch 2. Lead back down to 4 for Notre Dame. Lob from Shepard to Turner, a little wild, and it's cleared by Collins. Big trip again for Tennessee. They all feel magnified when number one's in town. Davis trying to muscle her way to the rim and gets called for the traveling violation.
Well, Collins has to get out of the way on that drive. If your teammate is driving at you as a post player, you have to slide up the lane, get out of there. Because I thought the congestion is what forced Renaya Davis into that travel.
One of the #1 rules for bigs, right? Guards coming, get out the way.
A rule I steadfastly follow just to avoid any physical pain. Ogunbowale, deep three, good. A huge third quarter for the best scorer in the ACC, and Notre Dame's back up by 7. Burrell for 3, tipped alive. Massengill ran it down again. And Ogunbowale stole it again. What a pass by Young to Enrique. In transition, the Irish do it again for their largest lead. What a surge by the Irish in the waning minutes of the third.
Jackie Young's had an incredible all-court game tonight. Yeah. I mean, she's within shouting distance of a triple-double. She's been around every rebound. Even if she hasn't gotten it, she's been battling in there. Like you talked about, Rebecca, the wings and the guards needing to do that, and she's done it.
Davis hoists up a 3. Rebound by Zay Green. Shot clock is off. The Irish look for the double-digit advantage. Ogunbowale. Shepard. And it'll be 9 at the third quarter horn. Enrique Ogunbowale outscored Tennessee in quarter 3. Number one's on top through 3.
Are you ready for the SEC Big 12 Challenge? 20 teams, 10 games, 1 day. Because you don't argue which conference is best, you settle it on the court. Oh my! Everything I do, you know I do it for the squad. I'm like...
Enrique Ogunbowale outscored Tennessee by herself in that third quarter. She's had a habit lately of coming alive in second half of games. And she said, you know, early in the game, I'm having more and more defenders on me. I'm just trying to take what the defense gives me. I've got to pick and choose my spots. But how about she picked the pocket there, picks her spot here, and Enrique Ogunbowale coming alive like she's been known to do. 16 second half points. For the, what did you call it, Rebecca Lobo? She said she's got the clutch gene. I think she's got the clutch third quarter gene as well.
Can you cultivate that gene? I think you have to be born with that gene.
If you could cultivate the gene, then I think everyone would be good at it. Yeah. I don't think it can be cultivated, right? I think you just have it, or you don't. Yeah.
Shepard missed it. We broached a very scientific topic there of gene cultivation. So.
Yeah, I'm not really that good at science or anything like that, so I can't help. But I just got to believe if you could cultivate it, that it would be more prevalent in society.
Marina Mabry hits a 3. That's number 228 for her career. She just tied her sister Michaela for 4th all-time in Notre Dame history. Michaela now an assistant for LSU. LSU, the next team that Tennessee's going to face this weekend. Jackie Young can't get it to go. Saved by Green and taken away by Westbrook. 8-point game. Zay Green way off target there.
Well, that shot smacked of desperation a little bit. I mean, it is 12 points, but you have plenty of time.
Yeah. Turner rolled it up.
Such a pretty pass from Shepard, too. Yep. You got to finish that.
Reward your bigs, right? Reward your bigs.
I'm a proponent of that.
Again, just to avoid any gene cultivation or physical violence. Those are the two things I'm trying to avoid. Westbrook. A little short. Tennessee continuing to struggle from outside. Young to Ogunbowale. Put a lot of control and rescued it. Young thought about the three. Instead, they'll get a pass into Turner. Ogunbowale, step back. Got it. Shaking her head, saying, "You can't guard me," as she comes back up the floor.
There's very few players in this country that can do that effectively.
Yeah.
Well, she was sort of looking at Adam when she was saying that, and that's very true.
I mean, it's factually accurate.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm the best target to go after, but sure. I mean, it's factually accurate.
You don't know if you're the best target.
Man, most impressive target. How about that?
Okay.
I'm not the most impressive target to go after in this regard. Ogunbowale again. That one goes down. Typical second half surge for Arike Ogunbowale. Holly Warlick will use a timeout with 7 minutes to play. We'll step aside. #1 Notre Dame in Knoxville tonight, but Knoxville's the home of the #1 team on the men's side. First time since 08 that Rick Barnes, Grant Williams and company are #1. Grant Williams, how about 23 for 23 at the foul line last night, Holly Rowe?
Well, that's right. I am here with Grant Williams, who had 41 points in an overtime win against Vanderbilt last night. What was that like, trying to get that win against a rival in overtime?
It was surreal. Really, we were just trying to get our job done. We knew we didn't want to lose. The team did a great job putting me in great positions to score the ball, and I just executed what they drew up for me. So it's really just credit to the team, and we credit to Vanderbilt because they're a talented team, and they're going to give a lot of teams problems this SEC season.
Who taught you how to shoot free throws 23 for 23?
I credit that a lot to Coach Barnes and the staff that we have around us because they've helped me become a better shooter over the years. I came in and they could tell I had some touch, but it wasn't outside of 8 feet. So it's exciting that I've been able to do that now.
Well, Rick Barnes actually knows how to shoot a free throw with a blindfold on because he's tried to teach me how to do it before. #1 team in the country, Coach. What does that mean to you? I know it's early in the season, but what does that mean?
What it means is it's good to see you. I really miss you. But I'm happy for our guys, Holly. You know, they worked hard, and we told them to enjoy it. And Grant said it's not what we were shooting for in January. We just want to be the best team that we can be, and as long as we will keep trying to do that, we'll be okay.
So it is the Big 12 SEC Challenge on Saturday, and you get West Virginia. You've had some pretty good games over the years against Bob Huggins. What will that mean for your team here?
Well, one, I love Bob Huggins. You know, I think he is a Hall of Fame guy that has done a lot for our profession, and it's going to be a good crowd in here to see it, and you just love their style of basketball. They never go away. They're going to fight for 40 minutes, and we'll have to be ready.
All right, we got the #1 ladies on the court right now, but the #1 men are right here showing their support.
Holly, you and Rick go back a long time. Holly's obviously our great Big 12 reporter on the men's side. Knew Rick for a long time when he was the head coach at Texas. A lot of Big 12 battles between Huggins and Barnes. That'll be a good one on ESPN2 on Saturday. You'll see #1 Tennessee. Let's see if the Lady Vols can get a little surge going here in the fourth. In transition, Zay Green, after 15 in the first half, now has 17 for the game, her first 2 of the second. Notre Dame a little sloppy with the Tennessee pressure.
A little bit more urgency for Tennessee defensively the last couple games. A nice pass behind, over the top. And Jessica Shepard finds an alley back there.
And that's a triple-double for Jackie Young. 12 points, 10 boards, and her 10th assist. Green, important knockdown jumper, the long one. It's a long 2. 5 minutes to play, still a 13-point game. Notre Dame in no hurry right now. 7th triple-double in Notre Dame school history belonging to Jackie Young tonight. Mabry to Young on cue. Another rebound. And Notre Dame can salt away some more clock.
You know, we talked about Jackie Young earlier, and I think she's played so well tonight. I mean, she's been active, she's been involved. she's created for her teammates. She's rebounded, and the triple-double is the manifestation of that, but she's been everywhere, even when she didn't secure the rebound.
Offensive foul from Marike Ogunbowale, kind of threw the arm up, but yeah, Jackie Young, her first career triple-double. Marina Mabry was the last current player to do it. Lindsay Allen did it for Notre Dame a couple of years ago. That was the last Notre Dame triple-double.
When we were talking to Muffet McGraw about Young earlier today, she said she's a silent assassin.
Silent assassin, that's right.
She does so many things well. The only critique was she needs to be more aggressive on the offensive end.
Well, we heard her say that so much last year. She's the all-time leading scorer in Indiana high school history, boys or girls. And the reason she was the owner of that pretty impressive record is because of stuff like this, the aggressiveness that she can play with. Renaya Davis picks up the foul, sending Jackie Young to the free throw line. Remember, it was Young who spurred Notre Dame in the national semifinals last season with that 30-plus point performance against Connecticut on the biggest stage. It's been fun. I was there at Rupp a couple of seasons ago when these two heavyweights went down to the wire. They'll be back at Rupp, part of our Sonic Blockbuster series in the SEC Big 12 Challenge. Kansas and Kentucky top 10 game Saturday at 6 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. 10 games across the ESPN networks, 9 hours of coverage. College Game Day from Rupp gets it going with Reese Davis and company at 11 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN.
So I have some cool things that Maria Taylor and I are working on. We took a tour of Coach Calipari's office.
Okay.
Let's just say he has some signed Drizzy sneakers in there.
He wore them, I think, the other night, right?
Yep,
I think he wore
those. And then Bill Self gave me a tour of his office as well, and I got a little tour of his bling. So we'll show that to you on Saturday.
Well, Holly, can we just bring back the photo of you wearing like every Kansas Big 12 championship ring? That's one of my favorite photos ever. Holly putting up both hands and has a ring on every finger for Kansas's impressive streak of regular season titles as Davis picks up the foul, her fourth.
Or was the 11th?
I double stacked a couple of fingers.
I was going to say.
It's 14 straight now, so I've almost had to double stack one whole hand.
The thumb, yeah, I was going to say multiple on multiple
just wonder,
fingers.
I was, trying to visualize, just wondering.
It's answers you can't get anywhere else, guys. These are life tips, life hacks you can't get anywhere else. Grabbed by Kushkitawa. Here comes Tennessee. Davis for three. You know, I hate making too much of one game. As Turner scores. This did tell me a lot about Tennessee and where the potential of their roster is. 3 quarters against the #1 team in the country. That's not an easy thing to do. We've seen other teams struggle with doing that at times. This is, I would hope, for Tennessee fans, for Holly Ward, at least some signs of positive things to come.
Well, they have a lot that they have to play for. This is not a team that's a lock to get in the NCAA tournament.
Absolutely,
now
that's a good,
at 12
great
and 7. Okay, this obviously doesn't go against their SEC record, as this is an out-of-conference game in January, but they have some work to do to continue to burnish that resume.
And I think this is the key. You heard Andy Landers, Coach Landers at the half, talk about this is the best he's seen Tennessee play in the last month.
Yeah.
And one of their issues this year has been consistency. Well, in those first 3 quarters, they've showed what they can be. Now you have to be that every single day in practice, and you have to be that for every single opponent.
We've seen great flashes, big second half comebacks this year by Tennessee. We haven't really seen a quality 40-minute game against a good opponent just yet. Yeah, you make a great point, though, too, Kara. Charlie Cream says that, you know, they're not a lock. They're the only team since the inception of the Division I NCAA women's tournament to make every women's tournament, going all the way back to the early 80s.
I do want to mention someone here, Adam. Dan Flesser, who was a reporter who covered the Tennessee Lady Vols for 30 years.
Knoxville News Sentinel.
Was laid off by the Knoxville News Sentinel yesterday. And if you're a fan of women's basketball, you've probably read dozens of Dan's articles over the years. He chronicled this program as good as it could be. And certainly as our brethren in the newspaper industry go through layoffs. We've been a part of that at our company as well. Wanted to send a special message to Dan and thank him for his support of women's basketball and for his coverage over the years.
All part of the Gannett cuts that have been ravaging the newspaper industry, in particular Gannett. But I mean, that's for those of us who lean on people like Dan to help us with our coverage when we cover so many teams from coast to coast across the country, and not just us, the entire basketball covering community. You know, it hurts when we see names like Dan's on the chopping block. We're thinking about you, Dan, and the rest of your colleagues in the Gannett family that I know and hope will find better days coming up. Muffet McGraw is emptying the bench. Ogunbowale with a chance to cap off another impressive night, particularly in the second half. Davis fouling out of the game, finishing with 6 points. Ogunbowale with 28 tonight. Offensive rebound, Sheridan Green. Steal there by Westbrook. That's the layup. Scrap for the ball. Ogunbowale battling with Westbrook for it. Showing some respect to one another there. Enrique will pick up the foul, and that might be it for her. And indeed it will be. 4 in the first half, 24 in the second half for the top scorer in the ACC. Another dynamite performance by Enrique Ogunbowale. The rest of the starting crew has accounted for all 73 points tonight. Westbrook a three. Prohaska's fouled by Burrell. 51 seconds left.
Yeah, let's look at Notre Dame moving forward.
Yep.
Certainly the favorite in the ACC, as they're the returning national champions and have already beaten Louisville, and that kind of puts them in the driver's seat a little bit.
Only game that they'd play against Louisville this year.
Right, and I just think at some point in this season, Nixon or Prohaska is going to have to play a role for them. And I don't know what game it'll be, but when I look at the tools that both of those players have, particularly Nixon, I think she can help them go to a different level because she's a point guard, because she has the ability to score. And so they're two players I'm just going to continue to watch through the ACC season because Notre Dame doesn't have a ton of depth. And I think they could use another ball handler that they could depend on.
Well, we've seen this season when they've had difficulties, it was against pressure, and it was their ball handling against that pressure.
Nixon, a McDonald's All-American for Muffet McGraw. The ACC is only going to get more intense in about 2 weeks. We're going to learn a lot in the month of February. That's when Notre Dame's schedule is really going to get tough in conference play, because they'll play at NC State, they'll play against Florida State, they'll go to Syracuse in late February. Those are the ranked teams remaining on their schedule. A timeout called here by Muffet McGraw. We'll take a quick 30-second break, wrap it up when you come back. We're talking about how the ACC slate's going to ramp up. You heard Maria, Nell, and Andy talk about North Carolina State, the only unbeaten team in men's or women's Division I college basketball. Got a test tonight against Clemson. Clemson's been playing well over the course of this ACC campaign. 3-point game. You can watch that on the ESPN app, in fact, right now. The final minute of that game. Can you imagine if Notre Dame comes into Reynolds Coliseum and NC State's still unbeaten? That's an already great atmosphere. Just think about how great of a night that's going to be in Raleigh.
Yeah, Wes Moore's done a terrific job at NC State.
Yeah.
They lost Grace Hunter, one of their best players, their leading scorer, and they're still able to put together the wins.
How about the ACL injuries that teams are dealing with? Is Ray Burrell, it's a nice block on Danielle Cosgrove here. Michaela Boykin, unfortunately, of Duke, she just suffered a second torn ACL in her career, this time on the other leg, as Jackie Young caps off her triple-double. Final seconds, and Westbrook draws a foul. Jackie Young just picked up her first foul of the night. We back Pat here in Knoxville, Tennessee. Thought it was very appropriate how we came on the air. Our friend Carol Lawson, former Lady Vol, sharing her thoughts about her former head coach. And I'd like to think there are still brighter days ahead here in Knoxville. This will be the first recorded 6-game losing streak in the history of Tennessee. But you really do get the feeling with a young team there's some brighter possibilities going forward. Since the loss to Connecticut in South Bend, Notre Dame has won 12 straight. Number 1 looked like it, especially in the second half. Great respect from Muffin McGraw and Holly Warlick as the Irish make it 2 in a row against Tennessee. And 12 in a row on the season. Tennessee with its first ever 4-game home losing streak and their first ever 6-game losing streak recorded in its history.